these guys look.
The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for Monday, February 12, 2024 is called to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen.
Here.
Councilmember Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Hancock.
Here.
Councilmember Drinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Murillo.
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Zvanek. There's a quorum.
Announcement of the public call-in line.
City Council welcomes feedback from the public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a la opinión de sus habitantes y a otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes en la agenda y durante la invitación a la audiencia. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación en español. Por favor, háganos saber si usted necesita este servicio. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia mientras se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y espere a la invitación para comentarios públicos. Gracias.
Please join me in the invocation and assume an attitude of prayer. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industries, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the city council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the businesses and to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of the community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Executive session update. During the executive committee meeting, we discussed the negotiations for affordable housing.
Mayor, that was the AURA meeting.
Oh,
it was an
sorry.
executive session, yeah.
AURA, executive session for AURA. Was it not? Yes. Yes. Okay. We got, is that, for a minute I thought it was Councilmember Gardner, but it's not. Okay. I don't know where that came from. My apologies, Councilmember Gardner, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Okay. Approval of the minutes for January 22nd, 2024.
Mayor.
Motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve January 22nd meeting minutes.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Bergen. Hancock.
Councilmember Bergen. Beat you to the punch. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the minutes for January 2nd, 2024.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Hancock?
It's not working.
Thank you. Councilmember Murillo?
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt the January 22nd, 2024 council meeting minutes.
We have one of our residents here, and Anthony Youngblood, Manager of Animal Services. I wonder if you could show us who you got there. Oh, very cute.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Katrina Winograd, and I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for the City of Aurora's Animal Shelter. Tonight, we have brought the dog Playboy. Playboy has been at the shelter for 39 days. He's one of our longer stay residents. Based on his teeth, we think he's about 4 years old.
Very cute.
And his breed, what did I say? We're calling him a bulldog mix. And this guy, since he came in as a stray, there's not tons of information about him, but since he's been in our care, we describe this dog as a playful guy who likes to romp around the play yard. He enjoys eating treats, meeting new people, and also taking naps. This dog has been described as well as a friendly dog with other dogs that he's met at the shelter. So if people are interested in adopting him, he is a candidate right away for dog parks and doggy daycare. He could also potentially do well with kids. And the process of adopting animals like Playboy at the shelter would be to come on down, meet the dog in person, bring your family members and other dogs, and see if it's a match. I also wanted to let people know that this week, starting Wednesday through Saturday, we're doing a deal in honor of Valentine's Day, and it's $14 pet adoptions. So if you or your family members or friends are looking to add a member to their pack, you all should come on down to the shelter and meet dogs like Playboy. Thank you.
What does the dog do again? You had a list.
He likes to romp around, eat treats, chew on toys that we allow him to chew on, and take naps.
Well, let the record reflect that the mayor does all those things. Okay. Does them well. Okay. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, thank you. Okay. Proclamations and ceremonies. Actually, well, why don't we go with Amazing Aurora first? Councilmember Gardner.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and hold this while I read it. Twa Gwynn is hereby declared an amazing Auroran. Twa Gwynn, owner of Bon and Butter Bakery Cafe on Colfax, has helped introduce Aurora's deliciously eclectic food scene. Real quick, before I finish reading this, there are so many hard words in this award, and I don't know why okay, anyways. Deliciously eclectic food scene and arts district to a new wave of fans through an amazing accomplishment. She was a finalist in the 2023 Food Network Holiday Baking Championship, showcasing her talents to a national audience. Since then, her bakery has become a destination location for fans of the show and has contributed to the success and growth of the Arts District of Aurora. Miss Gwynn's combined passion for food and art were honed at the Johnson & Wales Culinary School, where she could be artistic, creative, and innovative with food. She then moved to France and became classically trained in bakery and pastry arts. Back home in Colorado, Twa became a pastry chef and instructor with Auguste Coiffeur School of Culinary Arts before opening her French, Vietnamese, Asian cafe. An artist herself, Twa supports the Arts District through business associations, education, and philanthropic endeavors. Twa, for contributing to and showing the nation Aurora's deliciously eclectic food scene. You truly are an amazing Auroran. Good job.
Oh, please.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say thank you to the council members. And I can't tell you enough, being a part of City of Aurora has meant a lot to me because I can tell you I know 10 out of the 3 people here. And I remember Councilmember Lawson being there before we even opened. And some I didn't even know that was a council member for some reason, Jason. And so it's really exciting to see the relationship and networking that we've had along with Danielle as well. I remember you were at the very beginning. And so it's really important to me to see that there is this networking and to really understand that there's a lot of resources here in Aurora. And how crazy is it to have a small business owner know 10 out of the 13 members here? And Mayor Coppin, I see you every week.
Yes. And I've gained enough to show for it, but your pastries are truly addictive, and your Vietnamese food is very good as well. All right. Okay, for those here for the Lunar New Year, please come down and join me. All right. Let's see, why don't we line up over here? Okay. All right. Whereas February 10, 2024 marks the beginning of the Lunar New Year, which is celebrated in Asian American communities across the United States and especially Aurora, and whereas on June 2nd, 2023, Governor Polis signed a bill recognizing Lunar New Year as an observed state holiday, and 2024 marks the first time that Lunar New Year will be celebrated with this statewide distinction, and whereas Aurora is home to a thriving and vibrant Asian and Pacific Islander Americans of Bangladeshi, Cambodian, Chinese, Filipino, Hmong, Indian, Indonesian, okay, I might need Mien, Japanese, Korean, Laotian, Malaysian, Pakistani, Sri Lankan, Taiwanese, and Vietnamese descent, and whereas the Asian and Pacific Islander American community have contributed to the social, cultural, civic, economic, and academic success of the city, and whereas the Lunar New Year is predominantly celebrated by Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese residents of Aurora, and whereas this Lunar New Year is the Year of the Dragon and is universally celebrated by these communities as a time to renew family ties across the globe. Parades, festivals, and community events bring together communities to usher in a new year full of prosperity and good luck. And whereas the celebration of the Lunar New Year in communities throughout Aurora illustrates the city's rich cultural heritage and commitment to racial, religious, and cultural diversity. Now, therefore, I, Mike Coffin, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim February 10, 2024 as Lunar New Year. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Aurora to be affixed this 16th day of January 2024. Who is going to be accepting?
Mr. Mayor, City of Aurora council members, community, My name is Gigi DeGala, and I am the co-chair of the Aurora Asian Pacific Community Partnership. We celebrated when Governor Polis signed the Lunar New Year as an official holiday for the state of Colorado. But in the city of Aurora, this is where we live. Most of us, we work, and this is where we play. And so this proclamation is special to us because it means more than just this beautiful piece of paper and statement. It's recognition and acceptance and being heard and being seen, and you celebrating with us our heritage and culture and our hopes for a really good 2024 mayor. So next to me are advocates and leaders within our Asian community who also love the city of Aurora and support you. And I just want to take the time for them to introduce themselves.
Say what country you're from, initially from.
I'm Philippines.
Philippines.
This is Alice Moy. I'm from China and educated in Hong Kong and United States. And today I'm very honored to receive this proclamation and recognize and share the happiness of the celebration of the Lunar New Year.
My name is Mary Herrera Schultz. I am from the Philippines. I came here when I was only 8 months old.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Min Soo Song, and I'm the city co-chair for Aurora Asian Pacific Community Partnership, and I am originally from Korea.
Good evening. My name is Becky Hogan. I am the interim director of Aurora Sister Cities, and I am from Korea. This is my granddaughter. She's also from me.
Good evening. My name is Lily Xuan. I'm from Taiwan, and I've been here for more than 40 years. Yeah, I work a lot with the Chinese community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Benisha Shrestha, and I'm from Nepal. I'm a founder of Colorado and Police Community, living here for past 10 years. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aurora. I'm with the Office of District Attorney John Kellner. I was born in Hong Kong, so English is my second language. But John Kellner did spearhead the strengthening the hate crimes law in 2021 with the legislature, and the law was changed in 2021.
Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Land acknowledgement. City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories of the ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Public invited to be heard.
Matthew Van Wy.
Hi, sorry to bring the tone down a little bit. My name is Matt. I'm an economist. I live in Aurora. I'm here today to address some of the problems with policing our community continues to have, but probably from more of an economics angle, because that's the thing that I can speak to the best. Earlier this week, I heard about the $1.9 million settlement that the city came to with the family who was dragged from their car at gunpoint. And being arrested with their faces on the asphalt and being handcuffed. And I'm very, very glad that they got some measure of compensation for their injustice that they experienced, right? But these payouts are supposed to be more than compensation. It's supposed to be deterrence, right? But as any economist can tell you, In order for the deterrence to work, the people whose behavior you're trying to change have to be the ones to pay it, or at least some of it, right? I read in the Denver Post yesterday that their legal payouts have gone skyrocketing in 2023. I don't know what it is for Aurora. I'm getting a sense it's probably the same. And so I know you've heard this many times before. I know that. So I'm going to keep this part brief. But yeah, taxing us, paying them, and then taxing us more to pay for when they mess up against us is crazy. I mean, it's beyond frustrating. So rather than just like giving up, here's 3 economist-approved suggestions. Me being the economist in this case, sorry. 1, require police officers to carry insurance that would cover payouts that they are responsible for. It turns out that economists usually really like these solutions because the private sector can fulfill these informational gaps that government either can't or probably shouldn't fulfill. 2, stop giving the Aurora Police Department the power to decide if and when body camera footage is being released. We've seen what they do when there's a credible threat. Delay, partially release, wait. Delay, partially release, wait. But we own that. We pay for that. They shouldn't be the ones in charge of that. And part of that tool, it's not the only thing that tool does, but one of the things that tool does is protect us. And so we should have some control over when that's released. 3, put at least some of the cost of these payouts onto the people whose behavior you are trying to change. I know that a lot of these people are working for you, but they're not paying a cent for that, and they're still working for you. I mean, we know how some of these people from before are still employed. Okay, let me just say this one thing. I know it's hard to do any of those things. I know there's political, logistical, legal reasons to make any of those changes, implementing them really hard. I know that. But also not doing anything will lead to the same results. And then I'd say that you're at least partially responsible for that. Thank you.
Robbie DeYoung.
Council, Mayor. My name is Robbie DeYoung, and as you all know, I run the Next Door group, Stolen and Vandalized Vehicles in Colorado. We are now at 2,000 members. A couple of weeks ago, a juvenile stole a car in Thornton, realized when he got down the street that there was a baby in the back seat. He took the baby out of the car and left it in the middle of the road. Fortunately, the 2 women that found him thought first it was a box in the road and then realized that it was an infant carrier. They managed to get someone to get the police, and they're investigating the whole thing at this point. But a plate reader was the one that found the stolen vehicle, and the young man was arrested. Just because we're kind of focusing on retail theft does not mean that auto theft has just gone to the wayside. Now, for my second thing. I used to be given the nickname Mama Goose when I worked at Comcast. Reason why I was given that title is because everybody knew that they could come to me if they had a problem. When the council members get up here and start acting like they're victimized and that people are picking on them and that they want to have everybody see things their way, that is inappropriate. This is a council. This is not preschool. I've never seen in any job I have ever gone to where children were allowed. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I've never seen that. And I know it's hard. I've been a single mom. I've lived in my car with my 3 kids for a short time, but I know what it's like to be a single mom and trying to get by. Now, I have a solution. I have talked to multiple jurisdictions in the metro area. And everyone that I talked to, from council members from other cities, all agreed that this is a good idea. Unfortunately, no city in the state happens to have one. We need a daycare. And I'm not talking just for the council members. I'm talking about right out there in that big, huge field. Just think about it. We can take up all of that grass that we're watering and use it for a daycare. This would bring in police officers. It would bring in employees, knowing they'd get free day, not free, but they'd get daycare for their job.
Tanya Tabachek.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Again, I want to address Concord School. Guess what? It's still happening. 2 weeks ago, last Sunday, I was driving home from bowling, and I saw over 50 cars in the parking lot. So they're still running around, doing whatever they want. Nobody seems to care. And you know what? I thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't care. Maybe I should just not say anything, because who cares? But I'm like, no, there's citizens within this area that care. You have a new apartment building right next door. I'm pretty sure they're not going to like it, okay? And from what my mom has said, she talked to the property owner who said they want something done. So to her own, whatever, but we need to take control of the city and start somewhere, but we need to do it before someone gets hurt or killed. Another thing that I've noticed is with the migrants, they're everywhere. We even had, this past Sunday, I had a lady from North Dakota come up to my door, my house, where I live, asking for money because she went to resources in Aurora, and they said that, oh, since you're not from Colorado, then we're not going to help you. The migrants and all this stuff is becoming more an issue, and I'm really concerned with the citizens that people are going to, and it's happened more than once in my neighborhood, that people have come up to our house. That's scary. That's all I have to say, and I think we need to take more consideration and see what's kind of work together with these resources, because the migrants are overflowing from Denver to Aurora. You have people from other states coming in, going on people's houses. So I just want to bring it up. Thank you.
Well, as soon as we get done.
Oh. That was the last person.
That's on, Councilman. Any comments, responses, Councilmember Jersky?
Yeah, Ms. Tabachek, I couldn't agree with you more that it is a serious issue, especially when we have Americans being thrown out on the streets because of how Denver is choosing to handle this. I would implore the mayor of Denver to declare that Denver is not a sanctuary city and to plead with the Biden administration to shut down our borders.
Are there any further comments? Let me say to Robbie, we do in fact have license plate readers on intersections, and they have been very helpful. For any further responses? Seeing none, then the motion is in order for adoption of the agenda.
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So moved.
It's moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by
Bergen.
Councilmember Bergen for the adoption of the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes to adopt the agenda.
Okay. Next question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions, item number 10C1 to 10C5.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Motion to approve 10C1 through 10C5.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Sundberg.
Second by Councilmember Sundberg. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on motions, item number 10C1 to 10C5. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar on resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 11A5. Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Gardner.
motion to approve 11A1 through 11A5.
Motion, Councilmember Gardner's moved 11A1 to 11A5. Second.
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg. It's been moved by Councilmember Gardner, second by Councilmember Sundberg for the adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances 11A1 to 11A5. Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, I'd like to pull 10A5, please. 11A5.
11A5.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances 11A1 to 11A4. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question.
The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with item 11A5 removed.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 11A5.
Item 11A5 is Resolution 2024-12 in support of modular construction as a separate housing category to increase attainable housing in Colorado.
Okay. I'm listed as the prime sponsor, but I'm not. Councilmember Bergen is the prime sponsor, and I'm a co-sponsor. Councilmember Bergen?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to pull this off consent to explain, A, that it did not go through committee. I had planned for it to go to the Planning and Economic Development Committee in March. However, because of the legislation moving so quickly, it was important to have this brought right to the floor. And we know how critical housing affordability is not only in our state, but in our metro area and our city. So I've been working with staff and also a developer of modular housing to look at how we could reduce housing costs and increase the supply without sacrificing quality standards. This resolution shows that Aurora is not only increasing its housing supply at a much faster rate because modular housing is built at a manufacturing facility, and it can bring homes to market 50% faster and double the amount delivered. I want to thank our city manager, our mayor, deputy city manager Laura Perry, and her staff for looking at the duplicative costs that we have in the inspection and permit fees, and also the plan review process with increasing efficiency. So we were able to look at reducing those costs. So that this resolution will basically be a model. We're hoping that not only will our colleagues on council and with their leadership support this resolution, but that we can be a model for the entire state, for all the municipalities, and to look to our state to help us with making modular housing its own category so that we can all work together to reduce the cost and bring affordable housing to our to the people of Colorado. This will significantly reduce the cost and make it affordable so that people can have home ownership and have that pride of ownership. So I'm very excited to bring this forward, and I hope to have your support.
Thank you. I just want to thank Councilmember Bergen for all her work on this, and that I believe you have a meeting with the governor's staff. There's a lot of latitude that the state has in terms of reducing fees, because modular housing is essentially housing that is largely assembled in a factory setting, and it's much more efficient. And because you have a facility, and this is really what Councilmember Bergen is doing, is really getting ahead of this issue, because it will scale up and will have and I think it is the way of the future, and that you're going to have state inspectors to basically do the permitting for that part, which is over 60%, that is produced in a factory setting and then is assembled on site in probably three major parts, and that, but their ability as we scale up to really lower those fees, and so I think that's important to bring down the cost as well. And I just want to thank Councilmember Bergen for taking the leadership on this very critical issue.
Mayor? Mayor, I
Councilmember
wanted to
Hancock.
comment about the quality of these modular buildings. We toured the factory, and we also went on site to a modular home community, and to see how beautifully these homes are put together. And if you did not know that these were modular homes, you wouldn't know. That's how well they're done, and they are completely furnished with the major appliances, and the fact that it brings housing down to affordability standards so that young people and young professionals and folks can afford them. If you're downsizing, if you're a senior and you're downsizing, right now I couldn't afford my current house. So to be able to have a home that's of quality, that's affordable, that can be dropped anywhere, it is a real innovation, and Aurora could be the gold standard for what housing affordability can be in our state.
Thank you. Further comments?
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Yeah, and Councilmember Bergen and Mayor, I'm glad that you guys are bringing this forward. This is actually going to add an extra addition to our housing crisis that we have in the city. I do hope, though, that these aren't gobbled up by investors to make them maybe more of a rental product, because then affordability could not be sustainable. As investors, as we've seen, have come into our cities and many other cities, and they have taken apartment complexes and they have raised the rents if these are going to be. So I'm glad that this is coming forward. I'm just hoping it's not going to be gobbled up by investors.
Further comments? Yes, Councilmember Bergen.
I just want to add, Councilmember Sundberg and Councilmember Hancock were able to tour the manufacturing facility and the onto actual product, and saw, like you said, the quality and so forth. So I just want to encourage my colleagues that were not able to make the tour to try to get that scheduled. I think you'll be very impressed.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of 11A5.
Oh, I think I have to make a motion.
Oh, wasn't it moved? I'm sorry, it wasn't moved?
I think so. Motion to approve 11A5.
Oh, we need a motion, I'm sorry. Councilmember Bergen.
Yes, motion to approve 11A5.
It's been moved by Councilmember Bergen and seconded by?
Hancock.
Seconded by Councilmember Hancock. Oh, I'm not going to forget that one. Further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, call for the question on the adoption of 11A5.
The motion passes to adopt item 11A5.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12A.
Item 12A is a public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2024-01 for a zoning map amendment to rezone approximately .87 acres of land to medium-density multifamily district R3 located at the northwest corner of East Wesley Place and South Midland Street.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor Kaufman. I'm Liz Fuselier, presenting for staff. Tonight for review is an application for a proposed zoning map amendment. This site is located between East Ilef Avenue and South Blackhawk, adjacent to both commercial, retail, and residential development. The property is located within the Innovation District for the Comprehensive Plan. Multifamily residential is a supporting land use. The subject property is currently zoned MUC. The adjacent zone districts include MUOI, R1, R2, and R3. Here's the proposed zoning map as mentioned in the prior slide. Surrounding properties are currently zoned MUOI to the north, R3 and R2 to the south, R2 to the east, and MUOI to the west. And this concludes my presentation.
Very well. Is there a presentation by the applicant?
No, sir.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this issue?
No.
Questions for staff or the applicant?
Mayor?
Councilmember Coons.
I just wanted to say about this
Councilmember
particular
Hancock.
project, and we talked about it in our TAPS committee, that the idea of this project is creating affordability for those young professionals that, like police, nurses, those people in that income bracket. It's not going to be $400,000 or $500,000 units. They're going to be more affordable so that the people can integrate into the neighborhood. We talked about the traffic potential hazards there, and the way this is proposed, it will not cause any undue traffic pressure on the existing community, but will actually be a lovely footprint in this area that will add beautiful housing around an area that is somewhat depressed right now due to the close of the businesses that are surrounding that area.
Very well. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, did I close the hearing?
No.
Hearing is closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to adopt 12A.
It's moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Gardner.
Second by Councilmember Gardner to approve item number 12A. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12A.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-01.
Clerk, would the clerk please read the title to item number 15A?
Item 15A is Resolution 2024-13, finding a petition for annexation of a certain parcel of land located on the southeast quarter of Section 2 and the northeast quarter of Section 11, Township 4 South, Range 66 west of the 6th Principal Meridian, County of Arapahoe, State of Colorado, to be in substantial compliance with Section 3112-1071 CRS, and giving notice of a public hearing on the proposed annexation, 41.028 acres.
Thank you. Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, public record. I'm Jacob Cox, Acting Deputy Director of Development Review for the city. A petition for annexation was filed with the clerk's office for an annexation of a parcel owned by the Allen Trust located at the northeast corner of 6th and Stephen Hogan Parkway. Attached vicinity map in the backup materials. This parcel is within the city's annexation boundary and meets contiguity requirements. The initial zoning ordinance will be presented to City Council concurrently with the annexation ordinance. The initial zoning will follow the city's comp plan. And as you know, the City Council process for annexation follows state law, and it will be considered over 3 council meetings. Tonight's meeting, in which the City Council considers approval of the resolution, making a finding that the petition is in substantial compliance with statutory requirements, and sets that public hearing date for April 8th. We have no separate presentation from the applicant tonight, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions of staff? Seeing no questions, motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve 15A.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Hancock.
seconded by Councilmember Hancock. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 15A.
The motion passes to adopt Resolution 2024-13.
Would the clerk now please read the title to item number 17A?
Mayor,
Councilmember Murillo.
I actually have an item for reconsideration.
So that can be brought now.
Okay.
So it will need a motion, a second, and then.
Okay.
To reconsider.
So it's been, and what issue?
I might have to call in the city attorney on the correct naming, but I'd like to call up the, reconsider the ordinance from January 22nd regarding the rules changes. City attorney, if you could advise on the correct way to reconsider that item.
And that's the resolution concerning seating and.
Yeah, 11A4, Rules of Order and Procedure, amending Section D7, Appendix I, and Section A7 of the Council Rules, R 2024-04. Is that enough?
Yes.
That is regards to seating?
Yeah,
that was the rule change of seating. It's been moved by Councilmember, a motion to reconsider has been moved by Councilmember Moreo and seconded by?
Medina.
And seconded by Councilmember Medina. Councilmember Moreo.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. We had, in reviewing kind of the meeting minutes and the conversation that we had, wanted to just ask the city attorney a couple of questions on the matter. One, curious if there was any issue around single subject related to that conversation. I'll start there.
Happy to answer your questions.
Yes.
But this is going to, should there be a reconsideration?
Right.
If there is a reconsideration, you get a majority vote. It's actually not heard tonight, it's heard at the next meeting.
Thank you for that clarification.
But yes, so the single subject, we do have a requirement for, that's actually a resolution. But yes, single subject was considered, so there are two pieces, there are three. There are two seating items, and then there is an amendment to the sexual harassment and discrimination section of Appendix I.
Right.
So that was done as a council, an updating of the council rules, so that being one subject.
Okay, great. And I did have some additional questions in terms of, and that pertains to the reconsideration.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, sorry, just for my colleagues to consider in this request. So thank you for clarifying that. My next question was the stated purpose was defined as focusing on who can and cannot be on the dais and kind of an amicable decision to swap seats. But my concern is that the conversation actually started to focus more on one particular council member and that particular council member and her kid. So I just am wondering if there's any liability or concerns that we should be considering in further reflecting on that discussion and conversation.
Well, I believe that we'll, so first is the motion to reconsider, and then we'll have the discussion, which will be
The next meeting, right.
The next regular meeting. Okay, so, I'm sorry.
Just question?
Councilmember Bergen?
Just a question on reconsideration, because we don't do these very often.
I know. So I'm a little rusty myself.
When we do reconsideration, it's for, we have to have new information that has been presented that wasn't presented, and I can't remember what the other.
You also have to be on the prevailing side, don't you?
And
To be clear, it was on the prevailing side.
yes, that's correct. I'm trying to clean it here.
So normally, if there was, we voted on something, but we lacked, concrete information that would have changed our vote, is my understanding. But I guess I'm trying to figure out what the new information is.
So I think that's what the questions are intended to get to.
But
I think the big thing,
but-
let me, if I could back up, Councilmember Bergen, and, because I think, Councilmember Moreo, did you vote for, but you voted against it, did you not?
No, I was on the prevailing side.
She was on-
okay.
she was
So it's a
Okay, very
non-issue.
well. Okay, so,
So reconsiderations are under B5 of the council rules. And yes, you do need to be on the prevailing side. You do need to get a majority vote.
But can you answer my question? What qualifies reconsideration? I know you had to have new information that was not presented, but is that all?
Shall be granted only to consider the new information and shall be made at the appropriate time, which is now.
Okay,
So that's the only requirement.
So if that's the criteria, my question is there new information? Or are we just going to rehash the three items?
Councilmember Moreo.
Well, my request in bringing that up is to get a legal opinion from the city attorney to address the concerns, frankly. The scope of what it says on paper versus the dialogue that ensued, that is memorialized in our meeting minutes that we approved earlier, gives me concern that we are opening ourselves up to legal liability because of the letter of the law versus how we've applied it, to focus on one particular council member and her kid, which is in the ordinance that we passed, a protected class. So it's my concern.
My view is that it's pretty ambiguous what is new information and what is
Correct.
not. So I think the real issue is that Councilmember Moreno was on the prevailing side, and so has the ability to offer a motion of reconsideration. And so I think then the question is, okay, and she's moved that, you moved that, and now is there a second on the motion of reconsideration?
Mayor?
Councilmember Jaworski.
I will second it, and I urge my colleagues to vote no on a reconsideration for this. We've moved on.
Very well. Further discussion on the motion for reconsideration? Seeing none.
I mean, is there any way that we could get a legal opinion on the risk of how that conversation unfolded?
Well, I think that will be, should the motion of reconsideration pass, I think that could very well be.
So we can either do it as part of the motion for reconsideration. The rules also provide any council member can ask for a legal opinion, so be happy to answer that as individually, even if the motion does not pass.
Right. I just thought I'd bring it to my colleagues for consideration. I expressed my thoughts in that conversation, but just in further reflecting, I do still have concerns. So I wanted to bring it up for the larger body to discuss.
Councilmember Bergen.
I was just going to say, on the legal question, I think that is something that you would have a discussion with our city attorney to make sure that we're within legal standing on what we passed, but I don't think it's part of new information for reconsideration, personally.
Further discussion on the motion?
Mayor, point of order.
Councilmember Jaworski.
We have a motion and a second to vote on this
Well, you,
issue.
I thought you seconded the motion.
I did, so we have a motion and a second.
So we're in discussion right now.
Wow.
Okay.
Mayor.
Further discussion.
Point of order.
But the discussions are moving outside of the motion to reconsider. Now they're going into the substance of the reconsideration. They're moving beyond, should we reconsider or not, and moving to back to the original argument. So that's why I think Councilmember Drinsky's making the point that she's making, is because now we're moving beyond should we reconsider it and getting into legal opinions and all these other things. And so really, we're getting beyond the question of should we reconsider or not.
Very well. To the motion of reconsideration. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the motion to reconsider.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
The motion does not pass with 4 yes votes, 6 no votes. The yes votes from Councilmember Coombs, Mayor Kaufman, Councilmember Murillo, and Councilmember Medina.
Very well. Would the clerk now please read the title to item number 17A?
Item 17A is determination of final candidates to be interviewed for the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. I think the question is what is it? Are we going to interview 1 or 2?
Yes, we've only had 2 applicants that applied for this vacancy, and council can decide whether they would like to interview both applicants or just one.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
So I would like to propose to the rest of council that we hold these candidates, not pass on interviewing them, but put this back out for further applications. We only got 2 applicants. I believe that we should have more to consider. So I would like to reopen the application period, do additional outreach, whatever that looks like, whether that's us as council members on our social media pages, more outreach on city social pages, whatever that outreach is, and try to get more applicants before we kind of make a determination as to who we're going to interview. I don't feel comfortable yet saying that, we should move forward with interviewing based upon only 2 applications returned. I'm not saying I want to pass on these 2 applicants, but I want additional applications returned before we make that decision. That would be what I would propose.
I would second that.
Councilmember Bergen, then Councilmember Murillo.
Oh, so there was a second. I just want to concur that I think it would be better to have more outreach.
Okay.
again, I think Councilmember Gardner is still, those two would still be considered.
Okay, so Councilmember Gardner, for your motion, could you put in a date certain in the process?
Yeah, I would propose, I guess, 30 days,
Next meeting.
March 11th. So we reopen the application period and close it on March 11th.
Very well. And there's a second to that motion?
Maria.
Councilmember Murillo. Okay, discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the Gardner motion to continue receiving applicants until March 11th.
Mayor Kaufman.
Mayor votes yes.
Katie, I also vote yes. I'm having e-scribe issues.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes to extend the deadline to March 11th for additional candidates and do additional outreach.
Reports, I'm going to go last. Let's see, so I was getting confused now. Who's who? Councilmember Gardner.
No report.
Let's see, Councilmember Jurenski. Oh, Councilmember, no, Jurenski's senior.
In my spot.
What's-
I've been an at-large member longer, but she's been a council member longer. So I don't know what's going by. But I have a report to give.
Fine, please give it.
I am happy to announce that we have a WaterWise event coming up on May 18th in the WaterWise Garden. This is something that I worked on with our water department, and this goes back to when our city declared us in a drought, and I almost lost my mind. In lieu of bringing forward something to return drought surcharge fees, this idea was born to have this event. There's going to be a ton of vendors at this event. Most notably, Raccio will be there with smart water devices, and there's going to be many landscaping companies. If you want to look into how you can update your yard to make your yard more water wise, how to get some of these smart water devices installed. I am very proud of the work on this from the water department and working with me on this. And again, May 18th, and I hope to see a lot of Aurorans at this event.
Councilmember Coombs.
No report.
Let's see, Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. Just my Ward 1 Town Hall next Thursday, February 22nd at Moorhead Recreation Center. Thanks.
Councilmember Sundberg.
No report, sir.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, sir. My town hall is tomorrow at 6:30 to 8 at the Central Library, and we'll be having pros, park recreation, and art and public place make presentations. Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
I would like to thank you, Mayor. I would like to take this opportunity to appoint to the Business Advisory Council Michael A. Hancock.
Okay. Councilmember Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. For the Pfizer, for the legislative update, the Pfizer committee has met twice so far since the Colorado legislative session began and has taken position on 17 bills. There have been several bills reminiscent of last year's land use bill, SB 213, and we expect more to come in the following weeks. The city is also supporting federal legislation, HR 6224. They're fast, we're furious, which supports finding innovative ways to address street racing. The next Pfizer meeting is Friday, February 16th, and I hope individuals will tune into that. I will be having two I'm Ward 5. Ward 5 meetings, town halls. One is February 24th at Heather Gardens from 10 to 11:30. The other one will be February 27th, hosting with Councilmember Jurenski from 6:30 to 8 o'clock at the Central Rec Center. We will be talking all about traffic, so we're going to be talking about traffic calming, signal timing, the capital projects that are going on in Ward 5, the Ward 5 build-up Aurora in 23 and 24, and any additional questions that constituents have in Ward 5, or even if you don't live in Ward 5, have about traffic in Aurora. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Bergen.
Thank you, Mayor. And continuing to have work on the opioid governance committee. We are meeting monthly, as well as the walk-in crisis center and detox subcommittee. We're meeting actually twice a month. We're having presentations from various entities that do walk-in centers of some form or another before we get to our March meetings, where we're going to be making some decisions on the new round of funding. Also, E470, we've opened up the executive director search, and we also have a finance director search as well. Again, thanking my colleagues that went to the manufacturing facility. I've been to it many times, but I did join you on the On2 tour. That was great to see again. And we all attended the workshop, I believe everybody here, right, on this Saturday. And then just also wanted to talk about, some of us were in attendance at Councilmember Jurenski's court date, and wanted to extend our support to her. I know it's a very really emotional time to have to go through that type of court proceedings. So that's it for my reports.
Also, I hope that Councilmember Jurenski has closure when the sentencing does occur. Sorry that you went through all that you went through. I just had a conversation with the governor last week concerning the Buckley Space for Space and the Colorado Air National Guard's presence there, and that their aircraft are aging out, and there's no plan right now by the Department of the Air Force to replace those aircraft. And so if we don't get a replacement aircraft, then the runway closes, and it's really to the heart of our Air National Guard. It will certainly have an impact on the city of Aurora, but an impact, I think, on our national security. And so what I said to the governor was, look, this is really an issue of statewide concern. This is not just an Aurora issue. And that when the Space Command issue came up in Colorado Springs, we were in support. We were enlisted to do certain things. There was a statewide campaign, an organized effort, and I just don't see that effort on this issue of the replacement of the F-16s at Buckley. And so he is going to try to incorporate us in some type of plan, and I think he took it to heart that this is an issue of statewide concern. So I hope he follows through with that. On the, I sit as the chair of the Fitzsimmons Innovation Community, which is the biotech part of the Anschutz Medical Campus, and our executive director is going to be resigning at the end of the year. And so I think this gives us an opportunity to really look at the structure of this organization. And so I've been certainly in conversations with our city manager about how to move a study forward to say, is a public-public partnership the best with the University of Colorado, or do we need to look at a public-private partnership to move bioscience along in this campus, which is the northern tier of the campus north of Montview. And with that, saying no further business before the Aurora City Council, meeting is adjourned.